Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Carolyn here from Never Perfect Resin, and is this not the coolest little picture you ever did see? I love this picture so much. My daughter, she's 10, she actually created this picture. She is very into art and she has a little plethora of characters that she has created herself, and this is one of them. This character's name is Patch, and I decided, since I did get a brand new printer, that we were going to print Patch off, put him in some resin, and she's going to get a whiteboard for her room. Let's see how this goes right now. I figured this would be the perfect project to try out this pure glossy 1-to-1 epoxy resin. It is one of the newest resins to come out from Teexpert, and I am so excited to try it out and see what it is like to work with and basically get into this project. So I actually did let my daughter pick out the mold that she wanted Patch to go into. So she chose this kind of wavy tray situation, which I actually think is perfect. So you're going to see here, because it's going to end up being a moot point. I thought I was being super clever, and I had traced along the mold with a pen. And because I printed it on the wrong side, which that's a thing, I don't know when I'm going to learn to print on transparency paper on the right side, but yeah, it happens over and over again. But anyhow, I ended up just having to kind of like keep cutting it and making it fit. It did not want to do its thing, but I got there in the end, and we are basically good to go. So this Teexpert, I have mixed it up 1-to-1 by volume. I did heat up part A first, and I did put it through my Resiner's airless bubble removing machine. So all of that did happen. So at this point, I am just putting a very simple layer down because I need to get this beautiful image of Patch down into the resin. So, and you'll see I bought a new spatula. I have a new little silicone purple spatula, and I was like, oh, we're whipping you out, little purple spatula. You're perfect for this job. So super excited about that. And I am, I know it doesn't take much, you guys, to get me excited, but I love a good purple spatula. Placing Patch down here, and I am doing my best to kind of place him from end to end so that any chance of air bubbles are diminished a little bit, you know. And then what I like to do is I like this tool, the spatula tool, pretty much to like push the image down gently, and you can kind of see like I'm trying to like let any air escape from underneath that image as I go. So that's what's happening right now. Super easy so far so good. Getting Patch where I want him, and at this point we're gonna wait 24 hours, hitting it with a little bit of heat, get those air bubbles out if there are any, and they were pretty minimal, so that was awesome. And here we are 24 hours later. All right, you guys maybe saw this in my last video, this Rhea Arcus fluorescent green glow-in-the-dark powder. I knew the second that I saw Patch that I wanted his background to be absolutely fluorescent glow in the dark. I think this will be the coolest thing, especially since this is going in my daughter's room and she loves anything that kind of lights up and that kind of thing. And you guys, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That is a puppy barking. That would be Mona. Yeah, so at this point, I have mixed up another batch of this Teexpert Glossy Beautiful Resin, and I'm going to be adding the glow-in-the-dark powder. I was going to be done at this point, you guys. And then I realized, oh my goodness gracious, no, because I had like a crazy, like fun, timey idea that I had to get out there. So yeah, this video ended up being a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, because I was like, oh, this is going to be a really short video. But no. Oh, there are so many more fun things to look forward to. So at this point, mixing up the powder, I did have to put a few spoonfuls in and get it to the point I wanted it to. And one other thing I realized that I wanted to do was actually add a little bit of white pigment. So I'm putting a little bit of my Cast and Craft in just to make it a little bit more opaque. I don't want the entire piece to be super see-through. So I thought that that was a good move for me if I didn't want it to be completely see-through. And I was happy with the results. So at this point, this batch of resin is pretty much ready to go in. Pouring this layer on, waiting for it to cure, and then, oh, you know what? Lies. It's not, I'm not waiting for it to cure. Oh my goodness gracious. That was the whole part of my idea in my head that I wanted to do. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, hold on 1 second. All right, that layer is down, and it's been about 2.5 hours since I poured it. I realized I am obsessed with these neon powders right now, anything neon. And since I'm doing glow in the dark anyhow, I was like, oh my goodness. So this is what I did. I chose orange and blue. I put them into these 2 little spray bottles. I put a little bit of powder, decanted it in, and added some 99% isopropyl alcohol. Shook it up, and there we go. So that's what's happening right now. And I wanted to see if I could spray these on the back and possibly come up with a cool design. I don't know if you guys even saw that, but I put my toothpick in to show you what that resin looked like. I mean, it's not even like stringy anymore. It is like just very, very like tacky and soft. So at this point, I take these 2 spray bottles and I just go at it, do some spritzy spritz, some spray. And of course, this time I totally forgot to put like a barrier up so that it didn't make a huge mess. Definitely made a huge mess all over the place. I was a little bit too excited and impatient. But you guys, do you see that I am spraying and I feel like it looks so cool. Just the blue alone. So that's the blue going down, and then I spray just a little bit of the orange, and not necessarily matching with like Patch's colors, but I'm also like, I picked the orange because I thought with the glow in the dark and like lighting up that, and because it's basically the back of the image and I don't even know if it's gonna necessarily show through to the front, you know, since we added that Cast and Craft to make it more opaque. So basically my daughter is getting a 2-sided whiteboard, and I can't even get over how cool I think this is gonna look. So, all right, at this point, I actually turned the lights down. Do we see how it is already glowing and looking amazing? Super stoked. All right, this guy's gonna cure overnight. I'm not even done yet. So this is what happened. I had this super cute tattoo of kind of like a laced up boot. And Patch wears these super cool, huge, kind of like lacy up boots. So I figured it'd be perfect. So basically all I did was lay that tattoo down. I was so pleased with how well it transferred on top of this neon powder. and I am putting my final layer of resin down. So at this point, you guys, all we have to do is wait for this thing to cure and see how cool it is going to turn out. And while we're waiting, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I recommend doing so. It is totally free. It's not anything that you have to pay for. And, it definitely helps me out so much to know that y'all appreciate my content, what I'm putting out there for you guys artistically, and all of that good stuff. Definitely give this video a like if you end up actually liking it. That would be awesome. And anyone that has thus far, given me a super thanks, all of that kind of stuff, thank you so much. I have so many more cool plans for this channel in the works. We are going to be having some memberships stuff, all that is happening. It's going to be happening soon. So I've got plans, y'all. Just bear with me while I kind of figure everything out. All right, at this point, you guys, we need to unmold this sucker and get some still shots. So let's do it. All right, so still shots and some video footage, but outside in the sun, oh my goodness, I think this came out so cute. I had a little extra resin stand that I made for picture frames, and this actually sits there perfectly, and had to include the little chalk marker because, as I said, my daughter's going to be using this as a whiteboard. So she actually wrote patch on the back. So look how cute this is. Love how it came out. And at this point, it's been nice and charged up by the sun. So I'm very quickly taking it to a dark space. And oh my goodness, the glow is unreal with this Rhea Arcus glow in the dark powder. I love it so much. Now, the Teexpert Glossy 1-to-1 epoxy resin. I am loving this resin so much. It was super, super easy to work with. It was hardly any bubble, there were hardly any bubbles at all. I had a few bubbles in front of Patch's picture, and I definitely I think that was my own fault. I probably just didn't get the picture as flush as I had wanted to. But that being said, this resin, amazing. Teexpert, thank you so much for sending me your resin and kind of partnering up with me on a few things. You guys, if you're interested in Teexpert, I can definitely recommend their 1-to-1 resin. I can recommend their UV resin. They've got a silicone mold making kit that is amazing. So I've got codes down below. You can check those out. You can get 10% off if you're interested. And y'all, I will see you in the next video. Bye.